Hello again. This is the Wright Shop Report, October 25th, 2015. As you can see, I now have a bench, and this is absolutely happy for me. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law came out here to say hey, and so I used his help to rotate this thing over. By itself, the bench is about, I would say, 200, 250, something in that range. So it's pretty heavy, but I'm going to use it for tool storage, and I'm hoping to get it around 600 pounds or so, so that when you're planing and moving on it, that nothing moves. So I spent the last 3-4 hours planing it down, and I got it perfectly flat and twist out and level, and you notice it's kind of crooked in the shop, and that's because at this point all 4 feet are making solid contact with the ground. If I twist it so that it is parallel with the walls, then I have to shim up one of the legs because the floor in here is just an absolute mess. It's up and down by a good solid 1/8 to 3/16. But I started work on the winding sticks a while ago, but they're up enough so I could actually use them. Eventually I have, let's see, Purple Heart in here, and then I'm going to have mahogany inlays here and maple inlays on the other one. So those should be fairly pretty. But I was able to use the winding sticks to take the twist out of this. And then I went diagonally several times. Actually, first I went through and just kind of flattened the whole thing out and took most of the ridges out. There's still a few ridges that I wasn't able to get out. I would have to take this whole thing down in a whole nother 1/8 to get the couple ridges out on the other end. And I'm not going to do that. I can live with ridges. I might put a little putty or something in it just to flatten them out, but I can live with that. But you know, down here, this half of it is pretty much ridge-free and completely flat and level and heavy-duty. On each of the legs, not only is there the through dovetail, on those 3 they're on the outside boards. This one I bumped it in because eventually I'm going to have the leg vise on here, and with the leg vise pulling the leg out, I wanted to add a little more support, so that one's on the inside. See there's the through pin that actually, this pin goes all the way into about here. It's 6 inches long, holding that inside. It's red oak and not going to move. Then the stretcher underneath comes through in a mortise and tenon. Learned something on these. I need to make the tenon a little longer. I basically just cut them flush to the leg, and that left me with a few voids when chips come out. But all in all, not bad. I can live with that. Then down here, this stretcher comes through in a tenon, and then this stretcher cut out dovetail tenons for that. So those go all the way across and are dovetailed on either end on both sides. A lot of joints, and this thing is through pinned everywhere, and massively solid. This is, I could dance all day on this thing and it wouldn't move anything. It's amazing. So a few things I've left to do. I'm gonna sharpen up my smoothing plane tomorrow and do a final smooth all the way down the surface and the sides. Make this thing glass smooth and butter it up. I have to cut off the ends. I'm going to take about 1 inch off of either end and then finish them off. I'm going to give a 1/4 inch chamfer on all corners, just so they're not, constantly getting dinged up, at least as much as pine gets dinged up. Oh, and tomorrow I'm picking up a vise that I'm going to mount here. I found a vise. A new friend of mine is giving me his old vise, and it is made in, I think he said 1925. Really cool vise. It's intended for a woodworking bench. And for right now, I'm going to mount it here until eventually I get a screw to put on a leg vise here. I'd like to have a leg vise, and then I'll move that mounted vise and turn it into a tail vise down there. Then as soon, I have a friend who is a blacksmith, my wife's cousin, and I'm going to have him make me holdfasts for this. And when I get those holdfasts, I'm going to drill all the holes and make dogs for it and have a fully functioning bench. Eventually I may end up putting a tool well over here. I'm not exactly sure. I'm thinking about actually hanging a rack in between the vents and hanging my tools here so that they're all usable. I like having everything usable, so when I'm standing here, I either have something hanging right here or have it hanging back here on the wall. And I never have to walk anywhere for a tool. It's right here. So I am immensely happy. This is happy. So there's my bench. A few other things. Hopefully end of next week I'm going to start laying out my first piece of furniture on this one, which will be an end table for our living room. And I'm repurposing a bunch of oak that I have to make the end table, as well as some glass that I got for free at a garage sale back there. But yeah, that's where we're at. So happy day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good day.